So Wilson again changing the play, touching his helmet. Now lifts up the leg, gets the snap, looking to the right. He's going to loft towards the corner of the end zone, and Pickens, oh my goodness, what a catch by George Pickens. An amazing catch in the back of the end zone.
You could not draw that up better. Lofting that ball on that arc, giving Pickens all that ability to get himself gathered underneath on a go route into the back of the end zone, reaching up there with two hands. And Kanger, I got to tell you, that was an amazing catch.
Hi everybody, I'm Missi Matthews and welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. One of the Steelers' touchdowns from yesterday in Washington, beating the Commanders 28-27. The Steelers now sit at 7-2, heading into AFC North play finally. But let's talk about the Commanders, and joining me today to do so, as always, is Mike Prisuta of the DVE Morning Show. It was not pretty. There were a lot of mistakes on both sides, but Triv, they got the win.
And I thought it was a great football game and a great test for both of those teams, really. They both came in with very good records. You could maybe question a little bit of both the strength of schedule. That was a showdown type of game, a lot at stake, a lot of punch, counter punch. And really, I thought the Steelers checked a lot of boxes. They could have checked some had they come out on the wrong end of a 1-point deficit, but because they didn't, they checked a really big one.
All right, so let's get to the highlights and take you through some of the top plays starting in the first quarter. And the Steelers won the toss. They decided to take the ball and went 3 and out. So this is Washington's first possession of the game.
Yeah, and here you see the Commanders running the ball on first down. The Steelers really did a great job against their running game all day long. I thought that was critical to the way the game ended. And here you see this is a 3rd and 3. And Commanders unable to connect. Washington's first 2 third downs were 3rd and 3. They didn't make either one of them. Set kind of an early tone.
Yeah, that's okay. It seemed to be a problem for both teams, but here we go. Back Steelers with the ball. As we see, Jalen Warren and Najee Harris worked in a lot in this game.
Yeah, Washington, if there was an Achilles heel to the defense, it was the run defense. Steelers weren't able to exploit that to a high average per carry, but they carried it 43 times and they ended up adding up to 140 yards. So the ground game methodically held up its end.
Here's the touchdown. You heard the call by Rob King and Craig Wolfley on 102.5 DVE. And I think how they explained it is what everybody was thinking when you saw this catch happen.
Well, it's really amazing the ability of Wilson. You get a great look from this angle. Igbenogany, the nickel corner there, he's running to the pylon, and I think Russell Wilson sensed that and threw it behind Pickens on purpose, hoping that Pickens would adjust, which he has a habit of doing and did there.
All right, so Steelers on the board first. It is 7-0 at this point. Commanders getting the ball back, and here we see some big plays from the defense, including from Captain Cam.
Yeah, he had a monster game, and there's Patrick Queen, one of 8 tackles for a loss on the day for the Steelers. They gave some stuff up. They got gashed a couple times on the ground and in the air, but they counterpunched. There were negative plays that they created, and those helped influence the game as well. There's Cam Hayward, first of his 2 sacks.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are 13-1-1 now when Cam has 2 sacks in a game, so not too shabby.
You see T.J. Watt getting all the attention, so Cam gets a one-on-one and worked out really well. Here the Steelers trying to establish the run again with Jalen Warren. That set up this.
Yes. The fake punt. Miles Killebrew saying after the game it was something they checked into based on what they saw from the Commanders. James Pierre had a chance. It would have been great if that worked out, but unfortunately the Commanders getting the ball with very little, space they needed to get through to find the end zone, and they did it pretty easily.
Yeah, and what they saw was the vice opposite the gunner Pierre, number 35, Percy Butler. He came down and joined the rush, so there was nobody covering James Pierre.
Right.
They were daring them to throw the ball, and it would have been at least a first down, maybe a huge play. Instead, it set up the Commanders for a short field touchdown. If there was one negative to the performance of the defense, Missi, I think allowing 3 rushing touchdowns. I know they were short runs, but the Steelers had only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns in 8 games. you really hate it when the other team runs it in on you.
Absolutely. So heading into the second, at this point, the Steelers were 0 of 3 on third down, and it is a tied ball game, 7-7 here.
And here's a slant to Pickens on a third down that failed. Russell Wilson a little inaccurate early. If he hits Pickens in a manner that he can keep running there instead of having to stop, he probably gets the first down. But it set up this.
Yeah. Welcome back, Ben Skoranek, called up from the practice squad after he was dealing with injuries.
Whoever that other gunner is, Missi, he's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah. But great to see, because of what happened on that fake punt, that the Steelers were able to take advantage of something that has kind of been a problem for the Commanders this season.
Yeah, and there you get a good look at Danny Smith. He was pretty happy about it. Here's Russell Wilson, a little play-action bootleg drag to Pat Freiermuth. The Giants played Washington prior to the Steelers, and their tight end, Theo Johnson, had a big day. They were exploiting matchups against either number 4, Luvu, the linebacker, or as you saw there, Jeremy Chin, the safety, number 11. The Steelers came into this game thinking they'd like this 88-on-11 matchup. I was actually a little surprised they didn't exploit it more often.
All right, so that makes it 14-7, and then the Commanders were able to kick a field goal to make it 14-10 as we head into this Washington drive.
Yeah, this took a while, didn't it?
Yes, too much time, unfortunately.
I mean, this was potentially a game changer. Washington doing pretty much what it wanted on the ground, and in the air, 15 plays, 94 yards, 5 minutes and 23 seconds, and it results in a touchdown just before halftime that gives Washington the lead going into the break.
And as you said, being able to do it on the ground, that was Austin Eckler there for that touchdown, and giving them a 17-14 lead heading into the second half.
Yeah, you see a bunch of the Steelers' white jerseys in the end zone. That's not a good sign when you're trying to keep them on the other side of the goal line.
No, we mentioned third down conversion for the Steelers again. 2 of 7 in the first half, something that we saw get better when we got to the third quarter, but just the stats from there, not pretty. And luckily for Pittsburgh, they were able to change things, more things going their way in the second half.
Yeah, really a strange game from a defensive standpoint. They were really good early and really good late. And there's 2 drives, the one we just saw and then the one coming up to start the third quarter, 2 touchdown drives for Washington that turned a 4-point deficit into a 2-score lead.
And the fact that they ended the first half with the ball and then got it right back. So let's jump into the third quarter for the Washington Commanders' first drive to kick things off in the second half of this ball game.
Yeah, it starts off with a huge catch-and-run play out of Terry McLaurin, their very talented wide receiver. Minka Fitzpatrick missing a tackle there, and then he runs away from Joey Porter Jr. That guy is really good. And he's pretty excited now that Washington believes it has its quarterback of the future in Jaden Daniels. There you see the 2 hooking up again right to the doorstep. And then Eckler finished. Oh, excuse me, that's McNichols.
Yeah.
But another rushing touchdown. That is going to be addressed, I would think, in the video reviews.
Absolutely. So it's 24-14 now, still in the third, and here's Pittsburgh with the ball, and Najee Harris doing some of the angry running that we have been seeing during this 4-game winning streak.
And they made a pretty significant point of this on television. Charles Davis was doing the game, I believe it was CBS, and the Steelers didn't panic and start throwing the ball all over the place. They kind of stuck with the plan and were able to go down here and get a touchdown that really kind of changed the tenor of the game back, maybe at least leaning back to the Steelers in terms of momentum and possibility. Another physical catch and run by George Pickens. He was physically engaged in this game, as we're going to see in a couple plays from here. But man, was he into it. There's Harris finishing this drive, extra lineman, and
follow Mason McCormick.
Yeah, he's blocking a guy in the end zone. Same problem the Steelers had a little while ago. If you're defending in the end zone, you're not far enough up. It's not going to work. There you see Russell Wilson getting sacked, and then here he tries to make a play. This pretty much worked out like a punt. But watch Pickens here. Tag the guy down. Now go find Sanistril and just drive him into the ground. Because?
Why not?
Because he went to Michigan, maybe?
I don't know.
Good enough reason if it was.
I think he, as he said after the game, they were being very aggressive and physical with him all game. So, hey, catch the ball, do things like that. You're showing them what's going to happen here in terms of the fourth quarter and how the Steelers were able to get things going, especially on this drive.
Yeah, that was a third down slant to Pickens, and then that was 4th and 1. And Jaylen Warren able to convert it. Then a beautiful play down the sideline. Pickens doing what he does. Here's Warren to the goal line. He's almost there. Is he stopped? Ball definitely came out before he hit the ground, right? My problem with this play, and Gene Steratore was doing the rules analysis on CBS. He said that he thought the forward progress had been stopped. I actually think this is a little off point, but I think this is something they have to take a look at. I'm not a real big fan of pile pushing.
Well, that's exactly what that was.
When a guy stopped, he stopped. And I know
Right.
the fans like to see. Here is the Steelers defense getting back after it. You fumble at the 1, you got to shake it off, hold them back, and make them punt from their own end zone. And the Steelers accomplished that here. T.J. Watt with the pressure right after he had been held. Or is this the play he was held on? He was held on one of these. I think it was the second down play. But the Steelers get the ball back in plus territory, take a penalty, and then Russell Wilson able to make a play to Calvin Austin.
Yeah, and thank goodness for that because he was starting to get in a little bit of trouble, and there were 2 sacks prior to that we showed moving forward.
Then there's Freiermuth again on number 11, shallow cross for the first down. He beats Jeremy Chin. They pulled that matchup out when they needed it, and then I thought your interview on field on the Steelers Audio Network was phenomenal when Mike Williams told you that he had never run that play,
Yes.
and Russell Wilson just basically told him, no, move to the other side of the field and do this, and we're good.
Hey, welcome to Pittsburgh, right? He was anxious and excited to put his hand in the pile. Obviously, a lot to learn in a new system coming here, Tuesday night after you find out that you're being traded. But I think it was something that was good for him. Unfortunately, that's not good for Alex Highsmith dealing with that ankle injury. They had to cart him off the field. Coach Tomlin will have his press conference tomorrow at noon. I'm sure we'll get an update, but looked painful, and his face said a lot when you saw him come to the sideline.
Yeah, and all the players immediately signaling to the bench to get help out for Highsmith. There's another great play by Watt, who almost was in position to get another sack strip there, but play of the game here to me, 4th and 9, and Fitzpatrick and KZ close. And never mind Ertz reaching the ball out there because the knee is down.
Right.
I think they got this call right. It was called short on the field. It ended up short after a review. But this call, probably like a handful in the game, could have gone either way. And it's just one of those deals. If you're Washington, you can't hang it on that because you had plenty of chances prior to that. You also had a chance here coming up to at least get the ball back as Cordero Patterson comes up just short. 4th and 1. Steelers aren't going to run a play here. What are you doing, Johnny Newton?
Oh, yeah. You almost
They're going to take a
for him
delay
little
and
bit,
punt the
but
ball, and you jumped offside and just allowed them to sit on the last minute and 2 seconds.
and I like how when Coach Tomlin was asked about it after the game, he said, I will never tell you what we were possibly going to do, but I am a degenerate, so who knows. But all the offensive linemen said, hey, we were just trying to do what you would think we were trying to do. And luckily for the Steelers that worked in that situation, they didn't have to try to actually get the first down.
Yeah, if you're up 1 point and there's a minute left and a field goal beats you, I can't envision any scenario imaginable where you would go for that.
Right.
But
hey,
it worked out.
What they did worked.
You know,
Yes.
I guess Washington didn't know that.
I bet they did.
At least one guy.
Well, I bet he knows about it now. His Monday meeting might not be as fun, but yes. So another win for the Steelers, as I said, 4 in a row. What's your biggest takeaway from this one?
That they were behind by 2 scores in the second half against a really good team. And I do believe Washington is a very good team. The quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is really impressive. They've got a defense that's almost entirely new from a year ago. It's way better. I think they were 32nd in points against last year, Missi. And going into this game, I believe Washington was 11th. They're getting much better on that side of the ball. McLaren is explosive. That running game is legit. And the Steelers were able to take some punches and overcome some mistakes and find a way to win the game. And it took all 3 phases. A lot to build on.
All right, and heading into the AFC North portion of their schedule finally, we're going to take a quick break here on the Extra Point. And when we return, I'll have a chance to chat with Preston Smith, one of the newest Steelers. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Honor Museum.
Now this is the best era.
I couldn't agree more. Those teams were unstoppable.
The teams were really good in the 90s.
Come on, you couldn't catch those teams of the 2000s. Literally.
The 70s were the best.
No way, the 2000s.
Whoa, stop fighting. I think every era was pretty sweet.
You said it, kid. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
Wait, you're T?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. One of the newest members of the Pittsburgh Steelers is kind enough to join us here on this Victory Monday. Preston Smith, who got to don and debut the black and gold for the first time. And Preston, just take us through, it hasn't even been a week yet, what this has been like for you.
I mean, football-wise, it's been a smooth transition. The coaches, taking their time out to teach me the plays and get me adjusted up and up to speed for last week's preparation against the Commanders. It's been a smooth transition, great system to be in, great teammates, great atmosphere to play football.
Is there anything you learned about your new team, your new teammates yesterday in that game?
Man, these guys, they don't let nothing affect them. They always come to play until the clock hits zero. They never give up. They always find ways to get better throughout the game. They communicate well, and everybody has a positive mindset throughout the whole game. I never seen an ounce of negativity creep in. At no moment in the game, everybody stayed positive. Everybody stayed ready to go out there and do their job to contribute to success for the team.
How do you assess your performance, and was there anything feedback coaches-wise?
I mean, personally, I always feel like it's always room for improvement. It's some things I could have did better on some plays, but I feel like I contributed as best as I can to help with team success, and we came out with the win. So I feel good about some things that I did well in the game. I feel good about those things. I did well making a couple tackles, and getting pressure and coming in and doing my part and make sure that I didn't hurt the team while I was in.
3 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a quarterback hit, a sack. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I really didn't even look at the stats after the game. I just was out there I was excited to be playing football and, playing for a new team. I was just excited to go out there and just run around and hit somebody.
Lastly for you, what have you heard about the AFC North, the Ravens, their first division opponent for this season, and what the gauntlet of the next 4 games could look like?
Man, I just know, from watching film and seeing these guys, I know it's a lot of guys that can get it done and win games. It's going to be some great competition to go up against, Lamar this Sunday upcoming, and some other teams in this division. I know it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a huge challenge to go out there and contain him and make sure that we don't let him have a good day and contain Derrick Henry. Don't let him have a field day on the ground.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Congrats on your first win as a member of the Steelers. We look forward to Sunday against the Ravens.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mike Prisuta joins me once again to wrap up his final thoughts on Steelers over Commanders. We'll be right back.
Want to get gear direct from the team? Shop all things black and gold at the official Steelers Pro Shop located at Acrisure Stadium. Get the latest sideline apparel and hats, jerseys of your favorite players, authentic memorabilia, custom gear, and exclusives you can only find here. Don't forget, you aren't game day ready without a terrible towel. The Steelers Pro Shop has everything you need to be part of the legendary Steelers Nation. Come experience the Acrisure Stadium shopping environment or shop online at shop.steelers.com.
All right, welcome back as we continue to talk about the Steelers' win over the Washington Commanders as they sit at 7-2. And Coach Tomlin has a very good record when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, and he added to the win column yesterday as the Steelers' defense went against Jaden Daniels. Now, 26-6, and I think being able to stop Daniels from using his legs yesterday was one of the more impressive things because not many teams were able to do that, Mike.
No, nobody had really done that to the degree that the Steelers did, but they've played Lamar Jackson before. They're going to play him again. They kind of know how to do that against this type of quarterback. I know the rookie record is impressive, and it gets improved with that win, but a lot of times over the years, that's because they confuse the guy, force him into mistakes. The quarterback would break down because he's a little bit in over his head in that kind of environment. I didn't think that was the case yesterday. Technically, it's a win over a rookie quarterback, but the Steelers did not win that game because Jaden Daniels played like a rookie. They won that game because they were able to come up with the appropriate responses when they had to come up with them.
Yeah, I think also 8 straight wins now coming out of a bye week, something that has just really worked for them lately, being able to regroup, self-scout, do all of those things. But there is no time to self-scout heading into this Week 11 matchup. Finally, an AFC North division game. The Baltimore Ravens coming to Acrisure Stadium. It feels like every other team has played a division opponent. And, Mike, finally the Steelers get to do so with 4 in a row, by the way.
I think the Bears haven't also. I think they're the only one. I could be wrong about that. But it's interesting. When the schedule came out, nobody, I think, or few people anticipated the Commanders being as good as they are. So everybody kind of looked at the gauntlet, I've heard it referenced many times, as starting against the Ravens this coming Sunday. I think it started yesterday, and they're 1-0 in the final 9, which is still going to be a grind and still going to be a slog and still going to be very, very difficult. But I can't imagine the momentum and the surge, the juice the Steelers get out of that game yesterday. Not just winning it, but the way they won it. Missi, I think the arrow's pointing as up as it's been in quite some time.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Mike. I appreciate it as always. Thanks everybody for watching. That's going to do it.
You like that Tomlinism I slid in there?
I loved it.
If you will.
If you will. I didn't even have to acknowledge it because we just all know. But thanks again for joining us, and thanks to Mike. We will see you next Monday for another edition of The Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Have a great night.